Everyone. Now we will start with our next transactions of our journal entries. So there were 23-24 transactions. We covered half of it in part 1, and now let's begin with the transaction number 12. Okay. So transaction number 12, sold wheat flour to Padmashri stores for rupees 5,000 in cash. Okay. So what is a wheat flour? Wheat flour is a goods, right? And it has been sold for cash. So this is the example of cash sales. Okay. So let's see what are the accounts that are affected. One is sold, matlab sale of goods account. Then you have cash. See, since this is a cash sale, Padmashri account need not be affected. Okay. If it was a credit sale, then Padmashri stores, we would have used that Padmashri stores account. Credit means what? The payment will be at a later date. Okay. Here the payment is made immediately. Now let's see. Sale of goods account. So what is it's a income. So what is the nature of account? Nature of account is a nominal account. Okay. Cash account is an asset. So nature of account is real account. Okay. What is the rule for nominal account? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. So we will credit it. Then what is the rule for our real account? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Here cash is coming in, so we will debit. Okay. So let's pass a journal entry. Date is 9th November. 9 November 2016. Okay. Cash account debit. Amount is what? 5,000. 5,000 to sale of goods account. 5,000. And what is the journal number? Journal number is 12. So being wheat flour sold to Padmashri for cash. Okay, this is a narration. Now let's move on to the next journal entry. Transaction number 13. Deposited rupees 3,000 from cash box to SBI account. Okay, so he had some cash and he deposited the cash in the SBI account. Now what are the two accounts affected here? One is cash and one is SBI bank account. Cash account, SBI bank account. Okay, right? Now cash account is what? It's a real account, it's an asset, right? So what is the rule? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Here the cash is going out, right? You are depositing the cash into the bank, so cash is going out, so you'll credit the cash account. SBI account, it's a personal account. What is the rule? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Here SBI bank is receiving the amount of rupees 3,000, so you have to debit. So see, whenever this type of entry is there, like cash and bank account is involved, like deposit of cash, then withdrawal of cash, these types of entries are known as contra entry. Okay, now let's pass a entry. Okay, so what is the entry? SBI bank account debit to cash account, amount is 3,000. 3,000. Being cash deposited to bank. Okay, what is the transaction number? 13. Say when this type of entry is there, when bank account is debited, cash account is credited, or vice versa, this type of entry is known as contra entry. Okay, now let's go to the next transaction. Transaction number 14. Payment of 10,000 made to Shobna Traders by check. Okay, so we have made a payment to Mrs. Shobna Traders by check. So what are the two accounts that are affected? One is Shobna Traders and check. Check means what? Your bank account, right? So Mrs. Shobna Traders, and one is bank. So you know what bank it is. SBI Bank. We have seen it earlier, right? SBI. Okay, so Messrs. Shobna Traders, it's an artificial individual, right? So what is the type of account? It's a personal account, right? Then SBI Bank, again it's an organization. So what is the type of account? It's a personal account. Now what is the rule for the personal account? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. So we have made payment to Shobna Traders. So who has received the payment? Shobna Traders. Debit the receiver and will credit the bank since the payment has gone through the bank. Okay, so let's pass a journal entry now. 16. Okay, what is the entry? Messrs. Shobna Traders account debit to SBI bank account and amount is 10,000. Transaction number is 14. So being payment to Shobhana Traders by check. By check number so and so, date so and so. Okay, now let's move through the next transaction. Okay, let's see transaction number 15. Received payment from ABC Limited rupees 4,500 by check. Okay, so we have received the payment, okay, and we have received it by check. So when check, we'll deposit it in bank. So what is the account that is affected? One is bank account, and we have received it from ABC. So what are the two parties that are affected? ABC Limited and bank. Let's call it SBI Bank since we know the name. Okay, if you don't know the bank name, you can just write bank account, but here we know the name, SBI and ABC. Now ABC is what? An entity, a company, so it's a personal account. SBI, again it's a personal account. Okay, now what is the rule? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Now who is giving the money? ABC is giving the money, so you have to credit. And who is receiving? SBI bank account is receiving, we have to debit the receiver, credit the giver. Now let's pass a journal entry. What is the date? 13th November. Okay, now what is the entry? SBI bank account debit to ABC Limited account. Account debit. What is the amount? 4,500, right? Yes. To ABC Limited account 4,500 being amount received from ABC Limited by check number so and so, dated so and so. Okay, what is the transaction number here? 15. Let's put the transaction number. Now let's move to the next transaction. Transaction number 16. Payment of 60,000 made to GW Private Limited by check. Okay, so company has made a payment to GW Private Limited by check. Okay, again, what are the two parties that are affected? Two accounts that are affected is GW Private Limited account and check. Check means SBI bank account. Okay, so what is the nature of the account? GW Private Limited company, so it's a personal account. SBI bank, organization bank, it's a personal account. Okay, so what is the rule? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. So who is receiving the amount? GW Private Limited is receiving the amount, right? We are making the payment, so debit the receiver, credit the giver. Okay, so let's pass a journal entry now. 15/11/2016. GW, what is the name of company? Private Limited account debit 60,000 to SBI bank account 60,000 being payment to GW Private Limited by check number dated. Okay, what is the transaction number? 16. Now let's go to the next transaction. 17. Monthly maintenance of grinding machine will be done by Gopal Enterprises at the end of the month, and amount of ₹1,000 is to be paid at the same time. Okay, so there is a contract which is signed in by the company with what Gopal Enterprises to do the monthly maintenance of grinding machine. So what the company will come, they will do the maintenance, and at the same time the amount will be payable. So currently, as of 16th November, there is no financial obligation, right? So as of 16th November, only contract is signed, right? So it's not a financial transaction, correct? So entry number 17, that is 16/11/2016, there is no entry. Okay, that is transaction number 70. Okay, now let's look at the next transaction. transaction number 18. Withdrawal of rupees 10,000 cash from SBI bank account. Okay, so what he has done is he has withdrawn rupees 10,000 in cash from SBI bank account. So what are the two accounts that are affected? One is cash, another one is SBI bank account. Okay, this cash account may also be known as cash in hand account. Okay, so you can name it as cash in hand also. Now again, there is a transaction between your cash balance and bank balance. So what is this entry known as? Contra entry. Okay, so cash is what? An asset, so it's a real account. SBI bank account, organization entity, so it's a personal account. Okay, so real account, what is the rule? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So cash is coming in. Since you are withdrawing the cash, your cash balance will increase, so cash is coming in, so debit. Now what is the rule for personal account? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. So here SBI bank is giving, right? So credit. Now we'll pass a journal entry. 20th 11. Put a date. Okay, we are withdrawing a cash, right? So cash account debit to SBI bank account. What is the amount? 10,000. Being cash withdrawn from bank. This is a narration. Okay, now let's see the transaction number here. 18. Put it as JV number. 18. Now the next transaction. Transaction number 19. 25th November. Loan of rupees 5 lakhs taken from Vijaya Bank in check, and check is deposited in SBI bank account. Okay, so here a loan is taken. Okay, company has taken a loan from whom? From Vijaya bank account. So they have given a check, and that check is deposited in SBI bank account. So what are the two accounts that are affected? One is loan from Vijaya bank and other one is SBI bank account. So let's write it here. The one is SBI bank account. Now loan from Vijaya bank. So you have taken a loan from whom? From Vijaya bank. So Vijaya bank is what? Organization, entity. So what is the nature of account? Personal. SBI bank account, again it's a personal account. Okay, so let's see what is the rule for personal account. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. So here Vijaya bank is giving the loan, so we will credit it. And what we are doing, we are taking a check and we are deposited it in SBI account. So SBI bank account, it's receiving the money of loan, so we will debit it. Okay, let's pass a journal entry now. 25/11/2016. 25/11/2016. We will put the entry as SBI bank account debit to loan from Vijaya bank account, and the amount is 5 lakhs. Account debit 5 lakh to loan from being loan received from Vijaya Bank in check and same is deposited in SBI bank account. Okay, the transaction number is 19. Now let's go to the next transaction. Transaction number 20. Okay, now see the date of transaction. We are at the month end. Okay, 30/11/2016. Salary paid to Anil and Sunil by online transfer. Total salary is how much? 10,000 rupees. Okay, so now we are at a month end. We had employed two employees, Anil and Sunil, on 1st of November. Right now, as of 30th, there is a obligation to pay. So we will pass an entry for salary paid to Anil and Sunil. Right. So what are the two accounts that are affected? One is salary account, and see, the salary is paid by online transfer. Online transfer is nothing but it is paid through your bank account. Which bank account? SBI bank account. Right? So we will pass a journal entry first. Now two accounts affected are salary account and SBI bank account. Now salary account. What is a salary? Salary is an expense. So what is a type of account? Nominal account. And SBI bank, it's an organization. So type of account is a personal account. Right? So salary account. Salary account, what is a rule for nominal account? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. So we will debit. Since salary is an expense, we will debit it. For SBI bank account, that is personal account, what is the rule? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Now here SBI bank account is giving 10,000 rupees. Okay, 5,000 each to Anil and Sunil by online transfer. So we will credit. Okay. Now let's pass a journal entry. 30th 11. Okay, now what is a journal entry? Salary account debit to SBI account 10,000. Salary transferred to Anil and Sunil. Okay, what is the transaction number? Transaction number is 20. Okay, now we'll see the next transaction. Okay, now transaction number 21. Rent of 7,000 paid to Rakesh by check. Okay, so in earlier transaction we had signed an agreement and we had paid deposit to Rakesh. Okay, that time rent was not payable. Okay, there was no financial obligation for rent, but now it's a month end, so rent is payable. Correct. So what are the two accounts that are affected? One is rent, and since you are paying it in check, bank account. Okay, so two accounts that are affected is rent account SBI bank account. Now rent account is an expense account, so nature of account is a nominal account, and SBI bank account is a organization, so nature of account is personal account. Now what is the rule for nominal account? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gain. So rent is an expense, so we will debit it. And the rule for the personal account is debit the receiver, credit the giver. Here SBI Bank is giving the money, so we have to credit it. Okay, so let's pass a journal entry. The date is 30th 11th. Rent account debit. What is the amount of rent? 7,000. Okay, being rent paid to Rakesh by check number so dated so and so. Okay, so 21 is a transaction number. Now let's see one more transaction. This is the last transaction. Maintenance charges paid to Gopal Enterprises of rupees 1000 in cash. So there was a monthly maintenance contract which was signed in our earlier transaction. Okay, so the maintenance charges has been paid to Gopal Enterprises in cash. What are the two accounts that are affected? One is maintenance charges, one is cash. So we'll put it as maintenance charges. The cash account. So what is the nature of account? Maintenance charges is an expense, nominal account. Cash is an asset, so it's a real account. And let's apply the rule. Nominal account debit all expenses and charges, losses credit all incomes and gains. Okay, maintenance charges is an expense, so we'll debit. And cash account, real account, what is the rule? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Here cash is going out, so we will credit. Okay, now let's pass a journal entry. Maintenance charges account debit 1000 to cash account 1000. Transaction number is 22. So being maintenance charges paid to whom did we pay? Let's look at the transaction. Gopal Enterprises. By cash. So these are the journal entries. Once all the journal entries are done, see, usually when you do it on the book, on every book, on every page, what you have to do is at the end of the page you have to just take a total of journal entry, that is total of debit balance and credit balance. Okay, and this total you have to carry it forward on the first line of the next page. Okay, since I am doing it on PC, I didn't take a total. Okay, but you have to do it, so I'll write it as total carried forward. You have to write carried forward, and then on the next page, that is beginning of next page, you have to write total brought forward. Now remember one thing, the total of debit and credit side should be same. Okay, now let's calculate. Okay, what is the total? So these are the list of entries. Okay, from you just have to take a total. Okay, just take a total of all the entries. Okay, so I took it on Calci. It comes to what? 13,04,000. So we just have to write it here. 13,04,000. See, the only purpose of taking this is, and credit side also 13,04,000. Now in this there were some simple entries. Now there will be some complicated entries. So just to keep a check, you need to take a total. The total of debit and credit should always match. If it matches, there is 90% chance that all the entries are posted properly. I am saying 90% chance because if you make the error in considering the type of account and entry, or whatever account has to be debited if you credit it, and whatever account has to be credited if you debit it, still then the total will be the same, right? That error you won't understand if the total is same. So I am saying 90% of chances, because if you pass all the entries as per the golden rule, and if you check this total, then you can be assured that 90 to 95% of your entries are correct. Okay, so that's all for today. In next session we will be learning some more complicated entries, then how to post the entries in the ledger account. Okay, thank you.